So before you start any other work, you should understand the academic integrity process that's going on here. I have a very different version and a vision for academic integrity. I want you to collaborate. I want you to collaborate with each other. I want you to collaborate with me. I want you to look up resources online. I want you to talk to your mom, your dad, your cousin, your friend, whomever you can to learn computing. So that being said, I need to see you have done the work. I need to see your integrity, your work throughout the 10 weeks of the class. The biggest way people run afoul of academic integrity is they don't work regularly and they get to the end and they just want points and they blow up. They just cheat when it comes down to it. And it's pretty easy to detect it given what's going to happen here. So I want you to understand it and work with integrity throughout. So there's three pieces to this. I'm going to run through them really quick. The first piece of this is showing your work. There's this thing I call a ledger file. Every time you run code successfully, it's going to run a test file. And that test file is going to copy your code. We're going to save a copy of it. It's going to keep a timestamp, and it's going to tell me the work that you put into it. We'll see that a little bit later. But just understand, it's kind of like a mostly private video camera watching your work. I'm not watching you type. I have no recording on your device, but what I am looking at is your code. And I see every copy of your code that successfully runs a test, whether it passes the test or not. So the next thing inside of there is once you are ready to submit, I need you to certify that you did the work. You need to tell me who you worked with, what websites you looked at, what videos you watched. Don't have to be ridiculous about it, but anything that dramatically shows code. So whether you watch somebody get help in class or watched one of my videos or found a resource of code online, it's fine. If you just got a tutorial, I don't need to know about that. If you just learned something and applied it, that's what coding in classes are all about. But if you saw code written out there, I need to know about that because I don't want to find out about it later on. But you can do all of this stuff so long as you build that code step by step, not just simply typing it in. You're not a transcriptionist here, but use those ideas and type it in wrong and make mistakes and fix the mistakes. That's what learning the code is all about. And I'm okay with that. And then the last thing here is when we get down to the end, your code needs to be hopefully original. If you take somebody else's example and you use it as a guide and you build it yourself, you're probably not going to have the same originality here. So Gradescope actually tells me what percentage your code matches to other people's code in the class and other places I can check. So if I find that your code's very, very similar to somebody, it's okay if you said, hey, I worked with Tony and I work with Tony and my ledger shows, you don't have to say this, but your ledger should show you worked with me at the same time. I don't want to see you taking my code 2 weeks later and turning in an exact copy of that or a very similar copy to that. I want to see collaboration as in being mostly real-time collaboration. And I want to see lots of time in your ledger. And I'll show you how to do that in a legitimate way. And I want to see that you didn't have the wrong thing, wrong thing, wrong thing, wrong thing for weeks. And then in 5 minutes, you suddenly inserted all the right code and it works. Because that's not you solving the problem. I know there's a lot of good work that comes in there, but you still need to guide your way to the problem. You can't, you know, walk around for 3 hours and then get a taxi and consider yourself a marathon runner, right? You need to go through the whole course. You need to get there on your own with your own 2 feet. So what I want to do in the next set of videos here is I want to show you what that looks like in your coding environment. I want to show you what it looks like to submit to Gradescope. And then I want to show you a little bit about what some of the reports look like. So please bear with me. Walk through some of this because it will save you some time later on. But I'm going to try and keep these short. I'm going to try and keep them specific and help you along with some technical stuff along the way. So that way you're really well positioned for the whole class.